Look, I know I'm an emotional dude, and I know that during these watch-alongs and stuff, you know, I let stuff out, but I pretty much feel like I stand over a lot of what I said after the game. I'm concerned about leadership because I didn't see any out there on the pitch. I liked Andy Robertson's interview after the game. I thought he was honest, forthright, laid it all out there. I don't know if you've seen this, but there was a clip, a camera angle of Virgil van Dijk saying, wow, did you see that? He couldn't believe it after the game. You just see him pulling his jersey up to his mouth. It drops down and he just mouths, wow. A shock. Camera panning around Anfield. You see Copites, young and old, just shocked. Just unsure. Like, that's not in the script. How do you guys feel about the players that are at the team now? What would you do with Virgil and Salah? Because these are the two big discussion points I think we're going to have to tackle and have a grown-up, honest conversation about it. Virgil van Dijk and Mohamed Salah are two of the most consistent leaders in our dressing room. Part of me feels like it's time for a change, which is more difficult to say about Van Dijk, by the way, because with Salah, like I've said, we've always had the ability to score goals. You know, I'm old enough to remember your Michael Owens, your John Barnes, your Robbie Fowlers, your Luis Suarez, your Fernando Torres. We've always scored goals, but we've lacked that spine defensively since I've been an adult. We've had good centre-backs in Sami Hyypiä, Jamie Carragher, Daniel Agger, but Virg was a difference maker. I feel comfortable saying this. I'd take the armband off him, keep him on the team. I do think he has a lot to give, but I know people don't like when I say take the armband off him, but listen to his own words. There's a quote from Virgil van Dijk when he was interviewed during a difficult time for the Netherlands where he was coming under a lot of criticism. And he said that being the captain of the national team and a senior player at Liverpool, it was difficult. It was taking its toll on him. I really don't know if he enjoys being the captain. Before we get into should he be the captain or not, I don't know if it's a role that he feels comfortable in. It never seems that way. I know people can lead in different ways. Some people are talkers, some people lead by their actions. Virg's just, I feel like he's better doing his own thing. Just leave him to defend. So for me, I would take the captain's armband off Virg next season if a new manager comes in. I've no problem if he gets an extension. None. But I do think we need a new captain because for various reasons I don't think it's a good fit that he's the captain. Salah, I stand over what I've said for the last 3 months. I think now is the time to sell for the good of the team and for the good of the business side of things. And again, I think I want to have a conversation where we can talk about this sincerely. Nobody's trying to say Salah hasn't been amazing. Nobody's trying to say Salah doesn't deserve a statue built after he leaves. But all things come to a natural conclusion. And just like the manager today at halftime wasn't able to stir an emotion enough in those players. Maybe they've heard the words too many times. Maybe there was no well for them to go back to. And that's why I talk about change and freshening it up. Sometimes you need fresh opinions, fresh leadership. And that's where I'm at with it. I will always hate the Manx more than City fans. We sell Salah, who would you get to replace? I don't think we need a replacement because I don't know if we're going to play with wide players. So necessarily number 10 is probably more obvious. I mean, look at Florian Wirtz today. Hat-trick for Leverkusen to go and win the league. Sometimes players lose their hunger and it's natural because you get soft. You get soft with the trappings of wealth. You get soft with the adulation. That natural hunger isn't there. The best comparison I can probably give you is a fighter. And I think Conor McGregor's a good example of this. When Conor McGregor had nothing, when Conor McGregor was piss poor on the dole, he had that hunger in his eye. And you see it a lot in South American players or African players that come into the Premier League. They want to change their lives. They want to change their families' futures. They want to change their trajectory. And they've got that steely desire to win and that mentality. And sometimes that goes away over time. And I feel like it's going away a little bit with some of the players that have been brilliant for us. Like really superheroes. We all know VVD will stay as captain and I'm happy with that. That's absolutely fine, Harry. I respect your opinion. I think he's a terrible captain. I do. I don't think he's captain material. I think he's a great defender, a great centre-back, but I just don't see him as a captain. The future of EVD and Salah may depend on our new manager and his ideas of the way forward. Well, the reason that we're speaking about those two and not really Trent is Trent has the age part on his side with regards to a negotiation for a new deal, and he's a local. Salah and Van Dijk, you're looking at lads both 32 at the end of the campaign, both with 1 year to go on their contracts. And I truly feel it's a difficult decision as to what to do with those two boys, because I wouldn't be comfortable with either of them getting a pay rise. I don't think they've earned it. They've not gotten better, in my opinion, over the years. Well, sorry. Salah's peaked. So yeah, I don't feel like either of them deserves a new deal. Who would you make our new captain? McAllister? Probably. We should talk about Konate as well. Yes, can we? Yes, I think we do need to talk about Konate. I think that's a very good point, because what on earth has happened to him? He looks like all confidence has been drained from him. You know, he was always a centre-back that I thought was a little bit too touch-tight at times, but incredible recovery pace, incredible mentality, incredible physicality. But yeah, I don't know. Today, and I've also, to be fair to Konate, I've also felt at times he's been asked to do a lot, because the way Trent had operated on the right-hand side, drifting in field, and Bradley as well. I think he's been have to cover quite a large area. But he looked shaky again today, and as Jurgen even admitted this himself, the marking for their goal it's just laughable. It was so poor. Why are you talking about a new captain? Look, to be fair, AJ, this isn't in relation today alone. I've been talking about Virgil as a captain for a few weeks. I don't see him as a leader. He's a great centre-back, and I've no problem with him being in that team, none whatsoever. I just don't see him leading, though. I just don't. I don't see it, you know. I don't see him barking instructions. I don't see him in the referee's face. I just don't see leadership from him. Yeah, so I would change the captain. But I never really felt comfortable with him getting the role anyway. You know, he wouldn't have been my first or second choice for it. But it doesn't mean he's not a great centre-back. I look at these two conversations differently. I think we should try play Salah at striker instead of right wing. Theo, I agree. And this isn't a reactionary thing. I've been talking about putting Mohamed Salah through the centre for a year. I maybe a little change from... Look, today what I noticed about Salah was whenever he received the ball, he has too much work to do to get into the penalty area. The amount of times he receives the ball and he almost has to play a 1-2, then go past the player. He was operating in too wide a position, and I think Jurgen alluded to that when he was talking about the starting position of some of our players today. We were too wide. We know that Pep Linders and Jurgen Klopp love the players to attack the half spaces. So I was quite surprised at how wide Mohamed Salah was at times, where I felt like he had to work hard to get into an area to cause some damage. So moving him central to me would be, yeah, a decent option.